Matthew was in ninth grade. His transition to high school was already challenging. Struggling in school and at home, he says he wasn't asking for help or ready to accept it after that.
It wasn't really like I don't like, I want to die, like, that's not what it was. For me, it was just like, there's too much going on, and I need it to stop.
Jessica seemed to be thriving at school.
I can't show that I'm struggling, like, I've dealt with self-harm. I'm like, "They can't know," like, they're student government presidents, like, "They can't know I'm dealing with this." Like, I have too much to do, and I was afraid, I'd be seen as weak or stuff.
In your friends or family, do you know someone who has committed suicide? Do you know someone who has thought about suicide?
We're at a Vedum Club at Calico High School, created 20 years ago after students lost a classmate to suicide. It's loosely translated to, I've got your back. And now it's in more than 300 schools. Francesca Pileggi is a high school counselor and a Vedum's executive director. Both her uncle and cousin died from suicide when she was in her late teens. She believes we need to change the way we think about suicide. We might also have to change our assumption that suicidal people really want to die. Matthew says he wanted a solution. But what if people in that moment also knew how many actually regret that decision immediately? There are a few dozen people who have survived suicide attempts after jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. It takes 4 seconds after the jump to hit the water. Surviving an attempt like that is something the news would cover, and celebrity suicides are also reported. However, the media often will not share when there's been a local suicide. There are no suspects for police to find or danger to the public, so the story often ends there, goes untold. Is that the best approach, though, as suicide numbers continue to climb? Should we at least report more on how often it's happening?
What if we normalized that people have these thoughts sometimes?
I think it's a good idea because, we don't stigmatize really physical illness.
Looking at the sharp rise in suicides and mental health issues starting in 2012, that is also the first year more than half of Americans had smartphones.
Who thinks that social media is a positive when it comes to depression? Who thinks social media is a negative when it comes to depression?
A better use of your phone? For those between 10 and 34 years old in Pennsylvania, suicide is the second leading cause of death. So not talking about it is not working. Joel D. Smith, CBS 21 News.